Hoai Ca has fallen again. On the rugged forest path covered in weeds and sharp stones while out gathering vegetables with Hung, an unexpected incident struck. In just a split second, Hoai Ca couldn't react in time, and her whole body crashed to the ground. The sound of the fall echoed through the mountains, making Hung whip around in shock. But what stunned everyone wasn't just the fall itself. It was the thing that caused Hoai Ca to lose her balance. Was it only a slippery rock? Or was there something more dangerous lurking close by that neither of them realized? This time, is Hoai Ca just a little scraped up? Or is she facing something far more threatening? The next moments will have your heart tightening, because hidden behind this fall is a secret that's never been revealed. Don't look away. The answer is just ahead. This morning, Hoai Ca and Hung set out once again on the familiar mountain trail. They had walked this path into the forest countless times, but for them, every step still felt like a challenge. The early mist hadn't lifted yet, coating the trees in a pale haze. A light breeze carried the earthy scent of the woods, mixed with resin and wild grass. Both carried large baskets with one simple hope in mind: to gather as many forest greens as they could to sell at the market. For Hoai Ca and Hung, those bundles of vegetables weren't just food. They were their livelihood, their way of surviving day by day. Their steps were lively, their laughter and small talk chasing away the fatigue. Whenever they spotted a patch of fresh greens, they crouched down together, cutting quickly and tossing each bunch into their baskets. Time passed to the sound of cicadas buzzing and dry leaves crunching beneath their feet. They didn't allow themselves to rest for long. Only when the baskets grew heavy with greens did Hoai Ca finally pause, wiping the sweat from her forehead. Her eyes sparkled with satisfaction, while Hung gave her a gentle smile that made the moment feel even warmer. But their day wasn't over yet. After finishing with the greens, they decided to search for bamboo shoots. In the forest, bamboo shoots were rare and valuable, something people loved to buy. If they could gather plenty, the next market day would surely bring a big profit. The path toward the bamboo patch grew steeper, the forest thicker. Sunlight filtered through the canopy, scattering golden streaks that danced across the ground. The deeper they went, the quieter it became. Birdsong fading, replaced by an odd silence where only their footsteps and breathing echoed. After a while, to cover more ground, they split up. Hung headed west, while Hoai Ca turned east. "Be careful, okay? I'll come back soon," Hung called out. Hoai Ca nodded with a smile, reassured they were used to roaming the forest alone. But fate always has a way of striking when least expected. Her eyes lit up at the sight of tender bamboo shoots poking through the soil. She carefully dug each one out with her small knife, placing them in her basket. Sweat beaded on her forehead, strands of hair falling loose across her face. Still, the excitement of finding bamboo made her forget the exhaustion. Then, in an instant, a routine moment turned into disaster. As she stepped onto a sloped patch of ground to reach a bigger cluster, her foot slipped. The soil was damp and loose from the morning dew. She lost her balance. The heavy basket on her back shifted, throwing her off even more. And in the next heartbeat, Hoai Ca went crashing to the hard forest floor. A cry of pain broke the stillness echoing through the deep woods. Hung wasn't there. No hand reached out to catch her. Only the sound of wind hissing through the trees, and the sharp crack of branches snapping under her fall. She lay there gasping for air, her hands pressing against the ground as she tried to push herself up. Pain shot through her arms and down her legs, her vision blurred. All around her stretched the endless forest, not another soul in sight. For the first time, a helplessness crept in, making her heart pound wildly. Was this just another clumsy fall? Or was it a warning, something darker waiting ahead? As she struggled to rise, she felt every cut sting across her skin, every heartbeat thundering in her chest. Sweat and tears mixed running down her face. The vast forest seemed to stand still, watching in silence, as if waiting for what was about to unfold. Fortunately, after that unexpected fall, Hoai Ca wasn't seriously hurt. She pushed herself up, brushed the dirt off her clothes, her legs still trembling from the scare. A faint fear lingered inside her, but her eyes showed determination. She knew she had to stay calm and make her way back to Hung before he noticed something was wrong. The forest path was steep and winding, but she knew it well. Step by step, she steadied herself by gripping branches and shrubs along the way. When Hung's figure appeared in the distance, bent over a patch of bamboo shoots, her chest tightened. She bit her lip, hiding the sharp ache in her arm. She knew he would be leaving soon for a long work trip, and if she told him what had just happened, he'd only worry. That was a weight she didn't want him to carry. When they finished harvesting, the two made their way to a stream that wound through the forest. The water was crystal clear, running over moss-covered stones. Hoai Ca knelt by the bank, rinsing each bundle of greens with careful hands. The icy water made her shiver, but it also eased her fatigue. Hung sat beside her, picking out the yellowed leaves and arranging the vegetables neatly. The late afternoon sun slipped through the treetops, reflecting off the rippling water like gold. Their laughter mingled with the sound of the stream and the whisper of the wind, creating a moment of peace in the wilderness. Hoai Ca glanced at Hung. In his eyes, she could see resolve and responsibility. A mix of tenderness and worry rose inside her, along with a quiet wish to hold on to this calm moment just a little longer. Her hand tightened around the small bundle of greens, as if trying to hold on to its warmth for herself. When the vegetables were finally tied into neat bundles, they packed them back into their baskets. Their shoulders carried the heavy load, but their hearts felt light proof of a day's hard work. The walk home wasn't far now, just a few more slopes before they'd be out of the forest. The sunset stretched across the sky, painting everything in shades of red, their shadows falling long as they walked side by side. They didn't speak much, only exchanged occasional smiles and glances, enough to know that this simple happiness was what kept them moving forward. Hoai Ca kept her fall a secret. Maybe one day she would tell Hung, but not now. For now, the only thing that mattered was walking this path with him, sharing these quiet moments in the forest, and returning together to their small home, a place filled with hope, love, and simple dreams waiting ahead. After a long day in the forest, Hoai Ca and Hung carried bundles of wild greens and fresh bamboo shoots to the market. The red dirt path still held their footprints, their baskets heavy on their backs, but their steps felt light with hope. By the afternoon, the market was crowded and full of noise. Hoai Ca laid out bunches of bright green vegetables on a mat, while Hung lined up the pale tender bamboo shoots neatly beside them. The greens were fresh, the shoots crisp and sweet. And it didn't take long before customers gathered around. Some bought 10 bundles, others just a few shoots, but every smile and thank you left their little stall emptier and emptier. When the last of their goods was sold, Hoai Ca and Hung looked at each other, eyes shining with joy. Their baskets were empty now, but their hearts were full of pride. They decided to head home and treat themselves to a good meal. Back at the house, Hoai Ca went straight to the kitchen. The fire crackled, smoke stinging her eyes. She washed the greens, cleaned the bamboo, and dropped them into the pot. The vegetables she boiled the bamboo, she turned into soup, and with a plate of stir-fried mushrooms, the table was filled with the very things they had gathered that day. But every time she bent down, a sharp pain pulsed through the wound on her head, making her face tighten for a moment. She tried to hide it, not letting Hung notice. She knew he would be leaving soon for a work trip, and if he saw her pain now, he'd only worry, and she didn't want that burden on his mind. So through the sting of the smoke and the ache in her head, Hoai Ca kept smiling, her gentle eyes masking the fatigue. When the meal was ready, the dishes were simple but colorful and full of flavor. In that moment, she thought to herself, happiness doesn't need to be fancy. All it takes is sitting beside Hung at a small table, sharing food, laughter, and the sound of the wind outside the door. Beyond the walls, the sunset painted the sky in shades of gold and orange. Inside the little kitchen, the two of them quietly finished their modest meal, one that carried with it love, resilience, and the unspoken burdens Hoai Ca chose to keep to herself